Hello, my name is DaveKvitek and welcome to my Teaching Methods 10-minute video presentation. This presentation will be about non-metallic sheath cable for the electrical residential code class. Non-metallic sheath cable is commonly referred to as type NM cable. This video will reference page 112 in the textbook and article 334 in the NEC codebook. Our objectives for this presentation will be to understand the NEC definition of non-metallic sheath cable or type NM cable, the most common types and their descriptions, what are the allowable ampacities in which a cable can be used, color coding of the cable, what overcurrent protection can be used. These are referring to the fuses and or circuit breakers in the main electrical panel, and how to install type NM cable. As defined by the National Electrical Code, non-metallic sheath cable is a factory assembly of two or more insulated conductors enclosed in an overall non-metallic or plastic jacket. The picture shows an example of a 14-2, 12-2, and 10-2 type NM cable with ground. In this case, there are a total of 3 wires in each cable. All the wires are wrapped in a non-metallic outer jacket. In the industry, type NM cable is commonly referred to as Romex, a name chosen years ago by the Rome Wire and Cable Company, but is now a registered trademark of the South Wire Company. This cable is most commonly available in 2 or 3 current-carrying conductors. More conductors in the cable are manufactured, but they are not readily available. Sizes are available from number 14 AWG up to number 2 AWG. The picture shows an example of a 2- and 3-wire cable with ground. 2-wire cables have one black, one white, and one grounding conductor. 3-wire cables have one black, one white, one red, and one grounding conductor. The colored wires are used as the current carrying conductors. The grounding conductor is typically bare, but can also be green. The bare cannot be used as a current carrying conductor. The picture at the right shows a description of each component. The outer jacket is marked as type NM and can be used up to 600 volts. And has two number 14 AWG conductors with ground. Each wire is labeled. Note the black is the hot, the white is the neutral, and the bare is the grounding conductor. Type NMB is the most common type of cable used today. It is flame retardant, moisture resistant. The conductors are rated for 90 degrees centigrade, which can be used to derate and or to adjust for distance. However, the maximum allowable ampacity is based on the 60-degree centigrade column as shown in table 310.15b16. And here is the table. We see that 310.15b16 is for the allowable ampacities for insulated conductors. Again, the 90-degree column can be used for derating, and the 60-degree column is used for the maximum circuit ampacity for type NM cable. Note the description at the top of the table that this table is for applications where there are not more than 3 current carrying conductors in a raceway, cable, or earth. Type NM cable can be used in applications of 600 volts or less, in exposed or concealed dry locations only, in 1 or 2 family dwellings and also multifamily dwellings. It can be used as service entrance cable, which is the type of cable that supplies power to the entire building. In any installation, it must always be protected from physical damage. If you think it might get damaged, it will, so protect it. Although it is not required by the NEC, type NM cable is color-coded to make the installation easier for the electrician and identification of the conductor size easier for the electrical inspector. As you see in the picture, number 14 AWG is white, number 12 is yellow, number 10 is orange, and anything 8 and larger is black. NEC 240.4D indicates the maximum overcurrent protection for small conductors is 15 amps for number 14 wire, 20 amps for number 12, and 30 amps for number 10 AWG wire. Per the NEC, you are not allowed to install a fuse or circuit breaker larger than these values for this size wire. Special tools are typically used for stripping type NM cable to ensure the conductors inside do not get damaged. The picture on the left is a very simple tool called a cable ripper. The picture on the right is more sophisticated, but costs a lot more. A razor knife can also be used. However, care must be taken not to cut or nick the conductors inside. Now let's take a look at a short YouTube video that demonstrates how to strip type NM cable.
So this is a Romex cable ripper. It's very easy to use. All you do is you run your length of Romex cable through it to the desired length. Then you squeeze down on it with your finger and thumb, and then you simply just pull it. And as you can see here, you've basically put a slash in the cable wire to the desired length. Now you can strip back and see your ground and your hot and your neutral wire.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the installation of type NM cable. Starting at the bottom of the picture, it shows a box with wires hanging out of it. The conductors inside of that box must be at least 6 inches long. You have to be careful not to make them too long, as it might be difficult to put the receptacle or switch back into the box, and when pushing the device back into the box, if the wires are too long, they could get pinched or damaged. You want to make them long enough to work on them, but not long enough to get damaged. Moving up, type NM cable must be strapped within 12 inches of a metal box. If it's a plastic box, the number is 8 inches, and then at intervals of 4.5 feet, as indicated on the picture. If we move up again on the vertical rise, you can see the distance is 4.5 feet between staples, and then on the horizontal rise, again 4.5 feet between the staples. Around the corner, the minimum bending radius is 5 times the cable diameter, and this is to protect the cable. When bending it around a very short radius, the wires inside could get damaged. So again, take care when bending it around corners. The minimum is 5 times the cable diameter. As stated earlier, when installing cables where damage could occur, they must be protected. On the left, there's an example of a cable going into the floor and being protected with plastic pipe. Note the pipe requires bushings on each end to prevent damage to the cable as well. On the right, the cable is being protected on a basement wall, in this case with a metal pipe. Again, a bushing is installed at the top to prevent damage to the cable. When strapping cables, they must be strapped or stapled on the flat side and not on edge. This is to prevent physical damage to the cable, because there's more strength and support on the flat side of the cable than on the edge. If you strap or staple it on the edge, a lot of times the cable will collapse, causing damage to the wires inside. Now let's take a look at a short video that gives us some installation tips for type NM non-metallic sheath cable.
Installing electrical cable doesn't have to be knuckle-breaking work that leaves the wire kinked and twisted. With the proper techniques, anybody can pull wire neatly and professionally. When it comes to pulling non-metallic sheath cable, commonly known as Romex, a couple of tips will help you keep it neat and easy. First, always drill any holes in the center of the studs or joists in a nice straight line. This will make pulling a long run of cable a lot easier. Also, be sure to put the holes far enough away from electrical boxes so there's enough room to staple the cable near the box. Next, unroll the cable before running it so it doesn't twist and buckle. Although they make special tools for holding and unrolling cable, I use my arms like I'm an NFL referee indicating illegal motion. If you just pull it off the roll, the cable is guaranteed to twist. I unroll between 10 and 20 feet at a time, and then tug it through the holes I drilled. If you have a helper available, one of you can unspool the cable while the other pulls it through the holes. Wait until you've run all the cables in an area, and then staple them within 8 inches of plastic boxes and within 12 inches of metal boxes. When cable runs parallel to studs, joists, or rafters, keep it flat and neat, and staple the cable about every 4 feet. The maximum spacing code allows between staples is 4.5 feet. In spaces with several cables, you can use stackers to arrange the cables neatly and provide air to keep them from overheating. These are especially handy near multiple switch boxes and breaker panels. Also, code requires nail plates when the cable is within 1¼ inches of a stud, joist, or rafter edge to prevent drywall screws or nails from damaging the cable. Now you know how to pull cable quickly, cleanly, and professionally.
Okay, there's a nice little video on how to install a type NM cable. Now, let's go through some review questions to make sure we understood what we just looked at. Number 1, how many current carrying conductors are most common in type NM cable? Remember that you can get them in different sizes, different numbers, but the most common is 2 or 3. NEC table 31015B16 shows the ampacity is based on the 60-degree C column. Remember, the 90-degree C column can be used for derating and adjusting for length. Number 3, 12-2 type NM cable is what color? Yellow. Number 14 is white, and number 10 is orange. 8 and above is black. Type NM cable must be strapped 12 inches from a metal box, 8 inches from a plastic box, and at intervals of every 4.5 feet. Type NM cable must be protected from any physical damage. Again, if you think it will get damaged, it will, so protect it. And number 6, can you staple type NM cable on the edge? The answer is no. You must staple it on the flat side because it is stronger and will prevent damage. Okay, that concludes this 10-minute video presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your time, and I hope you learned a little bit about non-metallic sheath cable.